You guys, good news and bad news. Good news is that I found an old leather Chesterfield sofa on Craigslist for $25. Bad news is that it looks like this. I'm not a huge fan of the yellow color, and on the lower section here, the leather's really worn. But I transformed this sad sofa into this gorgeous multi-tonal gray statement piece using a product I found online. And that product is called Rub and Restore. Stick around to see how I used it to make this couch look like $1,000,000. I'm Heidi Erickson, graphic designer by day and DIYer by night. I'm hooked on the hard-to-find and boldly offbeat, but one-of-a-kind style can come at a price. If you want a home that's uniquely you without the price tag, then pull up a seat. I'm sharing my setbacks and successes so you can create confidently. On trend and on budget, but always off menu, Babe Cave TV. Alright guys, for this project you'll just need a handful of supplies, including Rub and Restore's leather and vinyl dye, their cleaner and degreaser, which is called Flight, and also their clear and prep finish. Aside from that, you'll just need a spray bottle of water, masking tape, some sponges, clean rag, gloves, and a bit of elbow grease. The first step is for me to remove the brass nails. Now you could leave them in and use a paintbrush to go around the hardware, but this couch has a ton of brass nails and they're all super close together, so I decided to take them out. I borrowed this tool from my husband. It's actually used for removing interior car door panels, but it worked really well for removing the brass nails, so I'll put a link for that in the description. Step 2 is to clean the sofa. Now that's pretty self-explanatory, but you do not want to skimp on this step, as I found out the hard way, but more on that later. Just be sure to give your sofa a good scrub down with Rub and Restore's degreaser. You want to make sure to completely remove any residue left behind from furniture conditioners so the dye can adhere well. Step 3 is the tape test. This is an easy way to see if your sofa is ready for dye. If you put a piece of masking tape on the surface, it should stick really well. If the tape curls up on its own at the edges, then you need to get more aggressive with your cleaning. But if you need your fingernail to peel up the edges, then you're good to go. Step 4 is to prep worn areas. First, toss on some gloves and then grab the clear prep and finish. You can see on the bottom part of the sofa there's kind of exposed, suede-y looking leather, and we're going to use this to seal that up before we put the dye on. And we just apply this to a damp sponge and wipe it on. Step 5, applying the dye. First, give the dye a good stir and then apply it to a damp sponge and wipe it on. It's really as easy as that. I am completely in love with this stuff. You can totally change the color of your sofa or give it new life if you want to keep it a similar color. It took me 3 coats to get almost full coverage. I knew I was going to continue with a glaze color over top, so I didn't worry about the areas that weren't completely covered. But if you're doing a solid color, you would just do an additional coat and you'd be set. Step 6 is to apply the glaze. To do this, use a spray bottle of water and lightly mist the area that you're going to work on. Then apply the glaze with a sponge and rag roll off with a clean rag. You can follow my technique or experiment and come up with your own. There really isn't a right or wrong way to do this. Just play around with it until you're happy with the result. I originally was trying to be really methodic with how I was sponging the glaze on, but after a while I realized it didn't really matter how I put the glaze on. It was more about how I took it off that achieved the really cool variations and subtle texture I was going for. Step 7 is to reinstall the hardware. So I just need to pop these brass nails back in, which was pretty easy because the holes are already there. I just needed to line them up. And we're ready for the reveal. Check out this couch, guys. Seriously, I can't believe this is the same couch. Rub and Restore turned that eyesore of a couch into this gorgeous statement piece. I did a quick search online and found that a new leather Chesterfield sofa costs about $2,000, which means that I saved about $1,800 by refurbishing this one. I am so excited to see your couch transformation, but before you dive in, I want to share the mistakes I made so you don't have to. Remember those brass nails? Well, turns out that some of them weren't decorative. The ones on the side panel here were actually holding the panel on. When I realized this, I grabbed the pneumatic stapler and tacked a few staples in to hold the panel in place. Just something to keep in mind if you're removing hardware on your project. In addition to my brass nail bows, I also made the #1 mistake in DIY. I rushed through the prep work. I usually try to do prep work the day before because then I'm not tempted to rush through it to get to the fun part of the project. Because I didn't really scrub down my sofa well in the cleaning step, I had a couple spots where the dye didn't adhere properly. So to fix that, I had to go back with the cleaner, scrub it down really well, and then reapply the dye. Learn from my mistake on this one and give your prep work the attention it deserves. The last thing that I want to point out, which you may have noticed, is that the base color that I used was a lot lighter than the glaze color that I put over top. If you're going to take a stab at this multi-tonal finish, I'd suggest using a base color and a glaze color that are more similar than what I ended up using, because you'll have an easier time getting those nice subtle variations in your finish. And that wraps up episode 1 of Babe Cave TV. If you want a behind-the-scenes look at my projects from concept to completion and all the shenanigans in between, be sure to check out Babe Cave TV on Instagram and Facebook. And if you like free stuff and want to join the Babe Cave TV creator crew, be sure to visit babecave.tv to sign up. I can't forget to give a huge shout out to Reinstall. I'll put their link in the description below. Be sure to visit that for full instructions on how to use their product for your couch transformation. They also have extremely helpful videos and FAQs, along with their online store where you can check out all their dye colors, and they even have a section of client testimonials and a gallery of before and after photos if you're looking for more inspiration. Let me know what you guys think of this project in the comments below, and like and subscribe to make sure that you don't miss an episode. I'll catch you next time right here on Babe Cave TV. Welcome to what? Blah, 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 blah.
Oh, well, that's not gonna work.